Hello and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Adam's Music Box. And today is a special day because I want to wish a very happy birthday to the great Manfred Mann. Now, Manfred Mann's Earth Band is one of my favorites of all time, and you would be hard-pressed to find a band with such a consistent string of records where there were no duds, no filler, great songs, that interesting balance of originals and totally whacked out wild and crazy covers of some songs that they just sort of twisted into these prog rock masterpieces. They were well produced, well recorded, had great cover art. They should have been bigger, and obviously they did sell a lot of records. They had a dedicated fan base, but I always mention them in the same breath as your Yeses and your Genesises and your ELPs, because I really see them as sort of royalty of the prog rock genre, even though they sort of march to their own drummer, if you will, Chris Slade being a great one. But they were obviously centered on the keyboard work of Manfred Mann. But Manfred Mann was someone who was much more about arranging things than he was about overwhelming you with solos. Yes, you had your great Moog solos, you even had some great guitar solos, but it was really about the arrangements of the songs and how he was able to meld the original music and the covers into cohesive albums, in some cases conceptual ones, without lacking any continuity. And that's quite an interesting thing to do. Was he one of the greatest arrangers, if you will, in this rock, prog rock world? I would certainly say so. Obviously, he started off in what they called a beat group, or what we might today call a traditional rock group, in the mid 60s. Doo-wah Diddy, we all know it. My Name is Jack and I Live in the Back. Pretty Flamingo, so many huge hits. But he made the conscious decision in the late 60s to leave the pop world behind and form Chapter 3, a real avant-garde type of sort of European jazz style fusion band. And just check out the song Snakeskin Garter, really cool song with some great organ work. But it was really when they decided to embrace, or when Manfred himself really decided to embrace the sounds of prog rock and help sculpt those sounds, that they became huge. And they did very interesting things by progging out to Bob Dylan and Bruce Springsteen songs. And of course, their biggest hit was their cover of Blinded by the Light, a relatively obscure Springsteen song that they, took to the top of progressive Mount Everest. And of course, there was the misheard lyric, instead of revved up like a deuce, wrapped up like a douche. And that just made it all the more fun. Manfred is still out there going strong, so happy birthday to Manfred. And for you out there, check out all of those great Earth Band albums. They are fantastic. As always, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.